retro handball.
Round one.
Put him down once and for all.
First strike.
It's not just about the new abilities.
Perfect kill.
It's not just about the new weapons either.
Hail Mary.
Or about the new maps.
Power player.
It's not even just about winning. Yeah, it is. It's all about winning.
Extermination. Killing spree. Unfriggin' believable. Double kill. Victory.
Y'all ready for some hot red on blue action?
Hey guys, welcome to Retrospective. This is a show that I, Retro Twin Bob 44, talk to my brother Retro Twin John 5 about some gaming analysis, some trash talk, and future patches of mostly Halo. But how about you introduce yourself, John, and tell them a little bit about us. Hi, I'm Retro Twin John 5. This is Retro Twin Bob 44. We're part of the Team Utah Noobs. We stream on twitch.tv/Team Utah Noobs. We first got started in 04, Seattle, for MLG. Played Halo 1. Weren't quite pro then. That was our first event. We made our names by playing versus the old pros there, like Tupac from Michigan, and their teams. And we got our team name from Pac running around asking, how come these noobs are so good? Who are these noobs? And then we told them that we were from Utah, so our team name became Team Utah Noobs. Then after that, we got sponsored by Team Best Buy and became Team Best Buy. Started playing for Halo 2. That's when Halo 2 came around the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Started playing Halo 2, and then we weren't able to play as Team Best Buy, so we left to play in WCG. Played WCG Halo 3, went pro in that, and then played Gears of War 1 and 2, went pro in that. That's pretty much our history for FPSs. Alright, John. Last week, we just watched the trailer for Halo 5 Guardians Beta.
Yep.
It's going to come out to the public in December 29th. We had a chance to be in the preview program here and played it a weekend early. And we're going to talk about our impressions for the beta. So, a lot of people have been comparing the Halo 5 beta trailer / gameplay that they've seen online to other FPSs, like Call of Duty, it looks like Advanced Warfighter, or Titanfall, the movement and whatnot. But I feel like a lot of people that say this is not Halo is doing themselves injustice by comparing Halo 5 beta to other FPSs rather than Halo as a whole. So could you probably help us out and compare Halo 5 beta to Halo as a whole? How it compares? Sure. My best perspective on the Halo 5 beta, since I have played it, I have some opinions on it. It has a little bit of a high skill gap. Not a little bit of high skill, but it has a skill gap in it that's pretty high. But it also has some things that are in there that this video that you're going to show probably explains a bit better. First, how about we play the video and let them watch the video, and then I have some insight on it.
They're just a standard that's above in all cases.
If you electronically switched the uniforms and played that at full speed, you would not have been able to.
So you're probably wondering, why are we watching a video of Jordan versus Kobe, or Jordan as Kobe? Well, there's always people that pave the way for anything
This man, when you
that
think
has
about
a
Michael Jordan,
following
the
to it.
closest to get to Michael.
And Jordan paved the
is
way for Kobe.
Bryant.
Now we just
And
agree that
from
these guys
the
are
videos
like
that you'll
phenomenal
see
players. And
from
let's
here
just
on,
move on.
you'll see
we
that
got to do the one-on-one battle.
there's
Huh?
pro
We
players
gotta
that
do
pave
it.
the way for players that are here today in Halo. And I feel that a lot of the scoring abilities feel that way. Where things like things that we'll probably go into after this video. There's a lot of comparisons between sports and esports. And I feel that there are a lot of players out there that are moving on with their lives, not want to retire. There's some codes to the way they identify and their abilities. It says in every trailer that I see, all new abilities. Put together a little bit of an overview of the abilities. Abilities and actual new is a certain way so eventually when you play the beta from the beginning, you'll get the sandbox that everybody knows and loves, the shield system, the grenades, and the melee. You'll get all that, but you also get a few other things that add a fourth layer to your whole skill set. And I feel that that's the reason why the skill gap is going to be really high in this game, just because you have the whole arsenal with you. So let's move on to the next video. I'll explain a little bit
They're
about
just a standard that's
the,
above in all cases.
the thruster, which is one of the first abilities. The thruster, I feel, was first seen in Reach as an evade, and also was seen in Halo 4 as a thruster. It's used as a mobility item to get close and get you in situations where you can actually, there's moves that's actually called the ninja, where someone's coming up behind you, you thruster right over them, and melee them right in the back. And those things make things iconic. Right here, you can see a ground pound by thruster right away. These button combinations are going to be apparent in your mind as you play, just like BXR or BXB, where they're going to be apparent in your mind while you're playing. Things like the ninja, it makes things iconic, it makes things memorable, and that's the same thing as like a fadeaway that Jordan had. Is something that makes things iconic. I see. So Halo, playing with the thruster, first, let's say first 6 to 8 hours playing in the beta, I would say that I used it mostly for defensive purposes. But later, as the combat evolved and I started learning more and more of what the thruster could do, started using it, like you say, in button combinations for offense. For example, if I had a sword, you can thruster towards somebody, get closer to the lunge range and melee them, and then get out of the way. But then it evolved even more after 8 to 10 hours. After I saw people with sword thrusting towards me, I would thruster away, or it would do the opposite and gain distance, where someone would try to thruster away from me, and I would just thruster towards them at the same time on reaction and get closer to them. So, like you said before, I think the thruster used as mobility is going to be great for offense and defense. Well, to start, when everyone starts to play the game, starts to play the beta, they're going to figure out their control scheme going in, and they're going to feel. For me, when I went into the control scheme, I took a look at them, and I saw that I wanted access reload because I play all the old school Halos, Halo 1, Halo 2. So I felt Halo 4 was the right control scheme for me. So me and you both went Halo 4 control scheme. I went with sensitivity 4. But most of the things that I learned from Thruster is mostly from watching like early on. So I was watching day one when we were watching some pros, the pro team play 343 pro team. Right, pro team. Yeah. We were playing while we were watching, and when you start up, you're going to be playing the placement matches, which is a new system. The placement matches will get you into a league, and then you'll play from the league from there. but I was watching neighbor use the thruster. He was using it to evade nades, which would probably be your first instinct to use it. And then later on, you'll actually, like you said, you'll start using it in a firefight, since someone will have a cadence on you, and then you'll just thruster away. The thing about thruster is everything in the game itself is balanced as
Well, it
far
has
as
the
movement.
balance, yes.
So there's a 4 second cooldown on it. So once you hit it, there's going to be a triangle at the top of your HUD. Is red, and you won't be able to thruster again for another 4 seconds.
Not only that, while you're thrusting, you're unable to shoot. So
Yeah, you go into
Or-
third person, and then your gun has a frame rate, or not a frame rate, but it has some starting frame for your gun to come back out.
yeah, so you have to risk and make a decision on if you want to use it. So let's go to the next ability since we went over thruster.
What might end up being on the most sort of overarching,
Let's go with the ground pound.
actually enhances the thing we
So
call
the ground pound, I feel, is a bit of an ode to the claw. If you don't understand what the claw is, made famous by Walshy, one of the legends of this game. The claw is when you can actually aim and melee at the same time while you're aiming. Now new people do new stuff. So,
Right. But the old school people, they
old
have to
school people
outlet
claw.
their hand, and push the button while thumbing over with their
Right.
aim.
So basically, this is an ode to the Walshy, the claw. If you watch old gameplay, or if you're old school like me and Bob, you'll remember when he would just embarrass people with the oddball, running back and forth, and then just jumping, meleeing people. This is, I feel like, one of the more harder abilities to pull off. In all these gameplays we did, either from either me, Bob, or my teammates. So, I mean, it's harder than it looks, but it's so satisfying when you hit it. So here's Walshy here,
King of close range. He's walking, he baits him in, jumps over, challenges his sword, and kills him. And then,
there's a charge is also in here. The charge, I feel, is a bit of a BXR. It's an instant kill. If hit directly in the back, you hit him in the front, it takes your shields down.
and then you just do the XR, the cancel. And
Right.
Garrett challenged the sword just like Walshy challenged with oddball. I kill him with the ground pound, and then give the sword. And of course I died to the assault rifle.
Game over.
But as you were saying,
As I was saying, here's the BXR up close. It's an insta kill. The charge, I feel like, is an insta kill done in the right situations. Later I learned that if you shoulder charge someone in the front, it would only kick their shield down. But then eventually I would shoulder charge, then thruster, and then shoot, because thrusting away would actually bring you away from their lunge range, and you'll be able to finish them rather than staying in their lunge range. Because, like I said, if you're shoulder charging, there's going to be a cooldown on that, and then you won't be able to pull out your gun and melee faster than they melee you. So I started doing shoulder charge into thruster, and then started shooting.
alright, let's go right into clamber. What is clamber, and
jump up, you actually
who is the ode to the clamber?
Who is ode to the combo? Who do you
Clamber.
think it is? It's the clamber. It's Zyos, baby. This is right here, Zyos, made famous by this play. You only can jump up that with high skill level and
You have to have
very high
perfect
crouch.
frame, jumping, plus crouch.
Yes, plus
And
crouch at
then-
the end. This is actually in tournament right here versus Matt Logan, old school play there. But I feel the clamber is just like,
So we recreated it in MCC just for HD looks because you can't really see it, but just clamber up there. Here's a play that for an example of clamber in game, Halo 5. So you wouldn't be able to make it up there unless you were using clamber. So
the thing about the maps and the way they play out, the clamber actually is built into the maps. So a lot of the maps either have just enough length on a jump, or just enough room where a clamber is necessary. So it adds a bit of tension when you're jumping. Say someone's behind you, you got a clamber, kind of like a Gears of War feel, where you're hitting up against the wall, or running and sliding up against the wall. You have that feeling where whenever you're running, you want to be hitting the jump button to clamber so that you can actually get up off the walls. But it feels good jumping off the walls. It feels fluid, and then actually adds tension if someone's behind you that you need to make that jump.
sure. So we
it
don't
makes it a bit
have
fun. any plays or any pros that
Any
have done slide, but slide is more of a mobility thing. It's probably going to come into play in the breakout game mode, but I could see the influences from like roadie running, hitting cover.
right.
As far as comparing to Halo, I don't really have a example of slide
Or
from other
someone
Halos,
making
but
a slide, useful.
but it's just going to be another mobility thing where you can also maybe possibly lower your. Oh, I guess it could be a ode to the crouch strafe.
Crouch strafe, yeah. Well, the crouch strafe actually did work in some situations. So I don't have examples of it, but when we were playing, there were some people that would hit the crouch button, and with the lack of auto aim in this game, it actually worked pretty well using the crouch in the middle of a firefight.
So pro strafe,
Pro
old
strafe?
school Halo CE style, you can crouch the last headshot and then beat him.
So what other abilities do we have left?
So we covered
When you jump up, you
Fast Climber. Let me click on the other one here.
actually enhances the thing we call
Sorry, a little bit laggy PC. And then we went over slide. Let's just look at how that slide is. We don't have any examples of it. But sprint, let's talk about sprint. The big elephant in the room, a lot of people talk about sprint does not belong in Halo.
So
and
sprint was introduced in Reach.
Right. But everybody knows that they are now balancing sprint by connecting it to your ship. So, what do you think about sprint and how does it fit in this game?
Sprint is actually really balanced. I feel you have to have the ability to sprint to get to places because the maps are built for sprint. But at the same time, there's a cooldown on your weapon when it comes out when you're sprinting. So I feel you need both the combination of knowing when the strong side, which is when you're turning your head.
So you're saying that strong side is go-to sprint is strong side, basically walking away
and with one shot.
And then okay.
That makes sense. But knowing how to strong side the real strong side, when you're no shields, walking away, you can't sprint away because it's connected to your shields is pretty important, and you'll find that out soon in the beta. Because when you're getting hit and have no shields, you hear both visual indication and the audio indication that you shouldn't be sprinting because you'll pretty much get cleaned up in any situation. So knowing when to turn your head and down and strong side away is pretty important. This is early on in our placement matches. There's a lot of sword kill action, so the sword actually had a lot of counters to it. Early on, it felt like it needed a shotgun on the map, but on truth, there's 2 SMGs on bottom. And later on, I think we played maybe 18 or 16 hours total of the beta. You feel if someone has a sword, you're opted to keep the AR rather than keep your pistol. What do you think? I was more opted to keep my AR if the other team had the sword. I would keep my AR more than I would keep my pistol in those situations.
The loadout that I ran was BR DMR, so I just go find 2 precision weapons, and then if you were coming at me, I just spam all.
Try to thrust away.
Yeah, well, I just try to spam all my precision guns.
Do as much damage as possible.
Yeah,
before he take you out.
I just try to avoid the areas that were small, so that where the sword would be. So I try to go to pink side, but either P3 where he would have to go a long way to get to me, or in a car bubble where I could see him before he got there.
So those are all the abilities there, and we feel like they're actually odes to either players or button combinations that made or changed skill gap in certain Halos.
There's also another one we don't have a video of. Gandhi Hop is the ode to the auto stabilization.
I did have some videos. You didn't upload them on?
Yeah, we didn't put them in.
But okay, so short story. Right when we started the beta, a lot of the players were telling us, a lot of the pro players or a lot of the players that we know that are on our list, were saying that you should probably turn auto stabilization off, right? So maybe like the first 8 hours we had it off,
and so I didn't get the glory of the auto stabilization until 8 hours in. I decided that I wanted to turn it on, and turning it on. Actually, the reason why I turned it on is because I started watching the 343 Pro team. They had all of them had it on, and I was just nerfing myself by leaving it off. So what happens in air stabilization is when you're zoomed in, or when you jump and you zoom in, your stabilizers come on and you can float in the air.
Mhm.
So in a lot of situations, you can either dodge nades or actually get different angles onto players in areas. So it's also catered to the map play that they have air stabilization built in, because you can tell on some of the maps where you can get some of the sight lines by just doing the air stabilization.
Right. So the abilities we just discussed, we feel like they're odes to how people played the game and made
As a-
staples or
right.
made marks on the game.
And add skill gaps so that
So
you
my
can
next
compare
question
somebody.
is right. My next question is, of the Halos
Mm-hmm.
1 through 4, they're bringing back at least one thing from each Halo that comprises into Halo 5. For example, Halo 1, they're bringing back the static timers for power-ups, as well as nadeable power-ups.
I did see that. That was pretty well. That was mind blowing. I didn't get a chance to experience it in
Smart
game,
scope.
but I did see a YouTube of it, and that is pretty awesome.
Well, we have the video here. If you're just tuning in and haven't seen it, I put together a quick nade video of myself in Halo CE so that people can understand where nading power-ups came from, which is this. That's what the what do you call it? The combat evolved metal
Combat
derived
evolved
from.
metal, yeah, derived
So
from, yeah.
some Beaver Battle Creek in Halo 1?
Battle Creek.
Nades here. And then also some Halo 5 beta nades. The plasma nade is the only nade that you can use to.
Which is an interesting twist on balance, which makes it the plasma nades pretty important to grab. If you want to use these, you want to get this metal, you want to use it to your
Combat
advantage.
evolved.
So there's a combat evolved metal. So Halo 1 is bringing back the
Outweighing
static timers
victory.
and the nadeable weapons.
Combat
What
evolved.
happens in high level besides getting power-ups on a certain time is power-up baiting. I'm glad that is coming back into the game. So power-up baiting is when everybody knows when the time is of the power-up comes, but we don't pick it up right when it comes up. We just wait it to go get it.
Yeah, that's the thing about knowing when the time is actually knowing how to bait the power up itself. Because using the HUD to your advantage, you know that the player does not have the weapon. Right?
Sniper's up.
So the player is right here clearly does not have the weapon. So he goes for it, and there you go. You're baiting the weapon, you get a free weapon there and a free kill on yourself. So that's just adding a lot of meta there to the game.
No, so that's just the second level of power-up timing. Everybody's timing Halo CE power-ups, but then at the next level, after the power-up timings, it's power-up baiting. Baiting when the power-up comes, everybody knows, and then you grab it. So I'm not only glad for the static timers, but I'm happy for the power-up baits.
But what about, now that we're speaking about the Halo 1 and what it brings, this is probably the best iteration of the AR and pistol in any of the Halos after CE. Would you agree?
I would say yes. The best AR for sure. The AR is better, actually, I believe, than CE AR. It's very useful in lots of situations.
Actually, the last thing that you forgot that is actually part of the abilities is the smart scope. So yeah, the AR is very strong with the smart scope. If you need a, it's kind of awkward at first.
Let's do smart scope real quick.
To zoom in, but zooming in what the actually benefits you really. It's just like when you shoot the pistol or hold down the pistol in Halo CE. There's a big spread if you hold it down.
I don't know. We have smart scope Oops. Oh my god, this shit is so laggy. Sorry, guys. So back to the pistol, I feel is the best as you set that up. The pistol is probably the best version of the pistol in CE. I don't have any pistol, please. Oh, jeez, can you stop that? That's connected to the. Oh, what's wrong with this thing? Is your smart scope thing? Well, I set it as smart scope, but there's no. There's like 2 times I zoom in, or once. I do have some pistol plays in there somewhere.
Smart scope.
Smart scope. Here we go. So you can now zoom in with the AR. Yep, you can zoom in with every single weapon. Yeah, there's no plays hooked to that, but yeah, I do have some plays for the pistol. With the lack of auto aim in the pistol, it feels really good just hitting people with it because there's no auto aim. It takes about 5 shots. It does take 5 shots to that to kill somebody. So you have little room for error to kill with the pistol. Here's a little bit of pistol. No, this is a clamber play again. The ending of it. And then there's some pistol action. I believe there's a double kill pistol. I watched it correctly. There's some BRing. Moving on from Halo 1 to Halo 2. So Halo 1, return of static timers, nateable power-ups, and return of viable start weapons. Halo 2, known for close-range battles using button glitches like BXR and BXB. Halo 5's equivalents are shoulder charge in one shot, and lots of room for individual plays, like in Halo 3 and Halo 5. So, returning of the out-skill outplay is also exciting. Halo 3 is in Halo 5. Halo 3, parts of Halo 3 including Spartan capture, teamwork, predictable spawns, and dynamic movement. Not just regular map control, but rolling together, running, baiting, and switching. There's all of that in the Halo 3. And then Halo 4, also baiting and switching. Mass build for sprint are also in there. Mass build for Halo 4. Okay. Yeah, and then some unique things that I found in Halo 5 that are not in any other Halos. Sure. Some buffed close range weapons. So the AR, besides shotgun and rocket, it was traditionally only shotgun and rocket because the SMG in 2 and 3 were really bad. The AR in 1, 2, and 3 are really bad. But now we have some buff close range weapons. SMG, yes, is worth picking up. Yeah, before there was just throw away and go get a precision weapon, and then where's the this one, the impressions? So yeah, let's talk about the precision weapons since we didn't talk about those. The BR feels as good as ever. It feels very good, 4-shot kills. It also has the distinction of a BR with that spread. You can actually be a little bit sloppy with it and still get some headshots. Knowing if you got those headshots are pretty awesome too. The perfect kill medal feels really good when you get that. The DMR has a bit of a close scope, but that's because it's a longer range weapon. So firing it at the hip feels good. Moving in feels a little bit awkward if you're too close. But the DMR itself feels really good just because you can hit those headshots pretty hard. Which one? What else did we not cover? Well, that's good stuff. Where's the meat and potatoes paper? You're gonna have to jump cut this. I know, unfortunately. Not really. Alright, so where's that? It's right here. Under... What's the title? Why are you laughing? Just tell me. It's the Halo 5 beta, it says. Impressions? Nope, it just says Halo 5 beta. Oh, there it is. Alright, so like I said, we played about 16 hours of gameplay. And at the beginning, we felt like, or when we were playing at the beginning, it was like, I need to grab VR, I need to grab a DMR, where are those and where should I go? At the same time, looking at the bottom left, learning all the callouts, which is very important because that Spartan chatter, they're using the same callouts. So if you're calling out red yard, blue yard, which is on Empire, the Spartan chatter, they're also using the same lingo. So learning those 343 Pro made positions that they made up are quite important. All right, let's get to the. Now that we've talked about a lot about the beta, let's talk about some balance issues or something that we hope to see them balance or what we felt like needed some work. Sure. So as this is the beta, and this is a good opportunity for any of the people out there to have their input in, because it is a beta and it could change. I felt that the AR and the pistol start was actually good for Slayer because it added drama. And same thing as like if you're watching, say, a Counter-Strike Go match, you're playing in a Counter-Strike Go match, the first round is going to be a pistol round, right? If you do well in the pistol round, you're going to start destroying, you're going to start getting yourself some money, and then you're going to start owning the other team because you got the AKs first, right? Mm-hmm. I feel that that's pretty much the same deal with the Slayer, with the AR start now being the best AR according to you, and then the second best pistol. They're all both viable in their own right in certain situations. So just like in a Counter-Strike game, if the other guy has an AK and you have a smudge, you wouldn't be attacking the guy from full range.
Used in the right situations.
You can still outplay the guy. Yeah. With the guy has an AK, but you want to get that AK yourself, and the majority of the rounds are going to be with the AK.
Yeah, but with the current weapon spawn times, the first initial breakout to get the precision weapons in position is very important. Because if you die in the first death,
right,
your weapon is going to be where your body is. So the next spawn precision weapon is not going to be up for a while. So it's really important, just like Counter-Strike first round, that you must concentrate at the very beginning. That not everybody dies at the beginning. So I feel that to balance it a little bit, to reduce the precision weapon timers just by a little bit, maybe 15, 20 seconds, because I would find myself like dying initially, and let's say we're playing on Truth, and my teammate would spawn me in a car bubble.
Right.
They just picked up that DMR at the car bubble, but in order for me to push with my team, I wanted a precision weapon. I had to wait until it spawned, but it took forever, and then I wouldn't be able to push with them, and then they would be yelling at me, "Oh, why aren't you pushing?" And then we'd get spawn trapped. So, I mean, later we found out that if you move around the map dynamically and go through where the weapon spawns are, besides holding the map dynamically, you can get more precision weapon ammo off of either dead bodies and or taking over bases and taking the ammo, using the precision weapon ammo as treating it as like a power up, just taking it from their bases and whatnot, and rotating. I feel the same way, that it felt a little scarce towards the beginning of our gameplay, first 4 hours, 6 hours, and then it felt a little better as we were moving around to get the weapons. Suggestion would be to up like you said, either the timer or add a bit more ammo, because I felt like at the very high level, we played maybe like 18 hours, I said, and then we were playing like T Squared and Walshy on those times, and Strong Side, some of the games as well. And they know that the same thing that we know by then is that if you rotate around the map, you're going to be getting the precision weapons, you're going to be getting all the ammo, but then the team that has the ARs and the pistols, they're having a harder time if there wasn't the amount of weapons there at least 10 seconds faster, since there are static timers for the weapons, for the power weapons. There's not much movement from the team that's up until the bigger weapon is going to come up. Right. Okay, balanced weapons, AR examples.
Okay. Also, early on when we were playing it like non-Halo 5 style,
Yeah.
we sit back and shoot. Sit back and shoot a lot. And it felt like there wasn't enough ammo if you played that style, sitting back and shooting. So, like say the scenario would be you sit back and shoot, and then someone would die, you run up and get the weapon off of someone's dead body, or you go sit back and shoot, you're fighting, you kill somebody, go and pick up their ammo.
Mhm.
I found out that maybe there should be Spartan chatter for like if you're picking up a weapon that has low ammo.
Yeah, because right when you pick it up, someone might be spying on that, baiting you to pick it up.
Right.
Once you pick it up, or sometimes you pick up one that's out spawn that someone walked over that had
Yeah.
a weapon already and is low ammo.
Well, that happened a lot because people knew that they needed ammo, so they would go and
Right.
scumbag and walk right by
But
it.
to your point, you pick it up and then you get immediately into a firefight. It's hard to look at your HUD to tell how much ammo you have. If they possibly added Spartan chatter saying that you just you have low ammo or something,
Yeah.
then you wouldn't have some clicking and then evading and running and embarrassing yourself. But besides precision weapons, I think we can talk about a little bit about map balance. So first, to start off with the truth, I feel that with the static timer of 4 minutes and the lack of we haven't talked about this yet, but I feel that we need to add back in objective power ups like the camo and the overshield, because if you have the static timer on the sword, I tend to find that there was 3 or 4 swords. The 12-minute match had 3 swords on the map because people were just hoarding the swords and not.
Well,
really using
there's
them.
a couple of examples of that, right? So early on, we started playing. It was really easy to just jump straight top mid, grab that first sword, right?
Yeah,
Then eventually
matches
people learned the
especially,
map. People learned the map, and then they were like, okay, we're not going to let that guy get that initial sword. We're just going to shoot him when he gets it. And then when he's down,
Yeah.
you're going to have to risk yourself and go grab the sword that's on the ground, right? And then later on, we play people that are been playing for a while. Green Skull, right? His team, I think he was running with 4. We were running with 4 as well. But they slow played the game really badly, like really hard. So they had 3 swords by the end of 12 minutes because of with the radar combination of the radar and them not wanting to lose. They had 3 swords because they weren't running around with the swords. Like those early sword plays that you saw in our video,
Right.
those are all placement matches where people have no idea what the map is. We're just running behind them, sorting them, right? Later on, people understand that, okay, I can see him on my radar, or I'll have my AR out, because the sword is pretty balanced. You have to get pretty close to sword lunge, and then with the glare on the sword itself, it's hard to see peripherally, so you got to keep your head on a swivel while you're using it.
That's all
which I do
fine
like.
and dandy about the balancing of the swords. And
Yeah,
whatnot,
but
what I'm saying is the map.
Well, I'm
is,
just giving an example of what happened,
right,
and then you're going to give an example of what
I
might
just
help
feel
that out.
Yeah, I just feel that it will be less hoarding of power weapons if they added back the overshield and the camo. For example, on the initial breakout, if they put the camo on the bottom mid and put maybe an overshield, a top pink 3 or a top carbine.
Sure.
And then put those on static timers. So in between the 4 minutes, maybe 2-minute timer or 1:30. In between those 4-minute sword timers, the person with the sword with map control would have to actually contest the objective power up, because if they didn't get it, and let's say we get a camo and then we sneak behind the sword, we get it, and then we have 50 seconds with camo sword, and then that's the comeback factor that you see in other games, that like a Baron and League of Legends or other Halos, where you can get an overshield and turn it around.
Right.
But I felt like you couldn't really turn around the game easily if the team had 2 swords and they had you on a spawn cycle, like where they would kill you at red with all of the precision weapons on the ground. They're holding car and pink,
they're obviously spawning at blue.
Yeah.
They just look at blue, start shooting you, and you're just
And
waiting.
then rotate in with the sword. And
Right, rotate in with the sword, and you're waiting for precision weapons and or SMGs.
Sure. Well, an example of that was Halo 3, right? Halo 3 was the heyday, arguably the heyday of competitive Halo, and they bring back static timers from the despawning timer from Halo 2, but then they also bring back the static power up objectives. Like on Narrows, they would have the overshields, right?
Right.
And then on Construct, they would have the camo,
Mhm.
right? So those were set up so that people can have the MVP plays, right? Where the team has full control of Construct, open and closed, and you only have either go up the big ramp or grab the camo, and try to sneak your way up through the sword route,
Yeah.
and then get behind people, break their setup that way. So
Yeah.
it makes for movement around the map when the team has full control, or they have to actually control that power up.
Mm-hmm. Also benefits
So
teams
an
with full
example-
control. They can just snowball it and end the game.
So example, where would you put the power ups on Empire? And
I feel that Empire has the same problem. Once one team gets both snipers, because it's such a long cooldown for the static timer that they can actually dynamically move or set up either way, and have two snipers where the other team will be struggling to get it.
well, it seems that way when the sightlines, right, and the way the sniper is set up. So if you don't know, the sniper when you set up has a bit of a weird. It feels weird at the beginning, but then it feels natural after. But when you click in on our control scheme, or when you zoom in, there's a bit of a delay there. It feels like
there's
a
some
bit of a
startup
delay
frames. Startup frames because depending on what you're doing, if you're standing still and zooming in, I believe it's
Right.
less. If you're sprinting and then stopping and then zooming in, it's more.
Right. So when
So
you
it's a balance
when you play the
thing.
map, it's obvious that they want you to set up just like a free throw. Like the snipe itself is pretty standard as far as how easy it is to snipe. But setting up like a free throw, you gotta sit, you gotta wait, and then you gotta take your time and shoot.
Right.
And the sidelines, just like you said, it feels like once they get to two snipers, the sidelines themselves and the added cooldown or the added frames on the zoom in, that people can easily just snipe and then rotate around, because they know that if they're getting close to you, the sidelines won't allow them to turn around and just snipe from there where they are. You can just rotate around behind or rotate to the other bases, just rotate back and forth and keep control of those snipers while having the two guys with either the BRs or the ARs to cut you off, which was a problem trying to get the snipers back. And you're saying adding the power-ups would help that.
Adding like a camo tower
I think
one
both of them. You should just
or
have both on
overshield.
every weapon or on every
every
map. Just have it standard on every map.
I feel that
Just like
way.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
you probably feel that way because we play mostly CE,
Yeah.
and they have that on every map, and you have to make a decision if you how to pick it up or when to pick it up, and then it helps counter the other power weapons. Otherwise, the other power weapons become even more
Right.
powerful. But they can also become even more powerful with objective power ups, which makes it fun for people who can actually get the teamwork to put together to get. For example, in Halo CE would be Camel Rocket. To get both of those could almost guarantee you 4 kills unless you get called out or lit up. But
Well, that's gonna just higher skill gap, which is what.
yeah,
anyone
that's
would
what I
want
want to
in
do.
a,
I want to hire skill gap. So, I mean, they probably have to look into it and balance. But it's shown up in every Halo. So,
Well, after watching, a disclaimer: if you're playing the beta, you should also watch the sprint episodes 1 through 6.
you should probably disclaim them at like the very beginning.
Well, watching these will
It's 45
get you in
minutes
get you into the mindset of what the developer is trying to do with with the maps and all that. So their 343 Pro team should be able to test this out for us before the year or before Halo 5 actually comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and test the actual power ups and see if it's actually viable. If it's not, then it's not. But putting in our suggestions now.
Also, talking about going back to truth. Sorry,
Sure.
we're going back to truth about the predictable spawns. We've seen this mostly in 1 and 2, Halo 1 and 2, predictable spawns. But I feel that they should be adding a couple spawns, bottom pink one and bottom car one, because I found that if the other team has map control and they're holding car and pink, that you tend to just spawn at bases, so they just have to figure out which base you are at, and then if they figure out which base you're at, they can just run in. And
So currently, the weapon placements, if you have the spawns down there, there's like nothing there.
Well, you need to add a precision weapon down there.
Just at least one or two, at least one
Yeah,
on each side. Okay.
either that one or a smidge or something that they can pick up and then sneak. Because right now, P1 there's a assault rifle. You really don't need assault rifle because you spawn with one. So
Right.
I don't know what good that would do or what good it does now. It's already there. You have plenty of ammo in your assault rifle. I don't know why they chose the assault rifle
As a weapon.
as a weapon under P1. But
It's the same on Empire. Empire on the outside.
mhm.
There's 2 assault rifles on the flats. No use for them unless you're like in a fight. And
Yeah,
then
I'd
you
rather
switch back
see
out.
nades or I'd rather see nades on top of the plats there.
Mhm.
Just because if you're holding outside and they're rushing, you can pick up the nades and
Right.
nade the stairs and Empire. But if I have an assault rifle out and then there's an assault rifle there, it's not helping me really because I already have the ammo for it.
Unless you rotated from like having 2 precision weapons, like you said you've been running.
I love running 2 precision weapons just because the way that the game works, the kill times are really fast, but the reload and all the other animations, they have them in there to balance.
Yeah.
So if I'm running 2 precision weapons and there's people rushing at me, I could put down my shots with the BR, and then if someone else comes out, I can just quickly switch to my DMR and put
Sure.
more shots on them.
So you're the scum taking all the precision weapons.
I'm the scum that's averaging 15 assists a game with no kills.
The assists actually are really good in this game, I feel. Like, if you put at least one shot into the person, you'll get an assist for it. There's also some awesome medals in there that, like Distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Distraction, I felt, was really cool when it actually happened. Guy would stick his tongue out, and then you would get it. It would feel good.
So we went
About
over.
Also, what did I say? Perfect Shot was awesome. Perfect Shot's pretty cool.
So you forgot to talk about the top mid, like full map control and truth. Top mid is like the biggest nightmare for a team that's spawn trapped.
Oh,
so
right.
when you're spawn trapped, let's say you're spawn trapped in blue or red, the way to flush the people out of the base and force them into car or pink, where shots in them, is you go top mid.
Right.
And it's really easy right now to get to top mid because they have the run and jump and thrust from the window.
Yeah.
Run, jump, thrust, window, get to top mid.
Or climber from the bottom.
Climber from the bottom,
Right.
get to top mid.
Or just
And-
run from the towers.
Like top mid, it was way harder to get to in the other Halos, but it's
Right.
really easy to get to. But it seems as though the shields right now, they take a lot of bullets. So it's less punishable for how easy it is to get up there if you don't have any control of the other side. Like, it's really bad if I go top mid and you have car, because I'll get shot in the back. But if I have car and pink, and then my teammate jumps top mid, in order to take control back from a base is really hard because when you're shooting top mid or nading top mid, those shields take a lot of damage. So what do you suggest they could fix that?
Well, there's 2 things that I wrote down that could happen. Either one, takes less shots for the shield to go down. Later on in our gameplays, we found out, like when we figured out the ammo situation by rotating around, getting more ammo, that team shooting the shield would help better, and then the shields will go down faster. But not everybody's joining as a team. Some
Right.
people are joining as solo. So if you're in a solo situation and you're shooting, maybe you can have critical hit spots. So say I'm in blue 2, I'm looking top mid, there's critical hit spots on that shield. I have to poke out to shoot those hit spots, those critical hit spots,
Yeah.
but I'm also exposing myself to getting descoped and getting crossed and getting
But at
killed.
the same time, you're not just spamming wasted ammo at the shield, hoping
I'm
that it's going to
actually
go down.
taking skill to try to take that shield down so that I can take the player down that's weak top mid that everyone's screaming at me to get. So
those could be two things that could change it. Either a little bit less, like maybe I don't know how many shots it actually takes. And
Yeah,
then,
we can attest that, but
and then
it seemed like
or having critical hit spots. But they were quite useful. I don't want them like to take them out completely. Just want to try to balance it for people that are not playing, as
With
a
the
whole
team.
team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Choose map approach, spawning back and forth side bases. Yeah, we talked about the spawns. Maybe add some spawns. Sword on a static timer. OS. Empire bull snipes. Okay. All right. So next week we're gonna play some objective game types.
Next week.
Or Monday, I guess. That's when it's gonna.
Well,
come
the
out.
Monday. Well, they've already come out with the schedule. The first week is going to be the same thing that we played.
Yeah.
It's going to be Slayer on Empire and on Truth.
Yeah.
Second week is going to be Breakout, and then I think it's Breakout on something. It could be Regret, Breakout and Regret, and then the third week is when there's Objective. So we'll have a write up or talk about Objective after.
Okay. And then as far as some like thinking out of the box stuff for esports, Halo as an esports title, some stuff that we wanted to mention were like to make sure that the game is patchable.
Mm-hmm.
So although we're trying to make one more thing after as far as that goes, that people should learn from Halo 4 as far as feedback goes. 343 came in, did the turbo update upon request from the fans, and they're giving us an opportunity to play the beta early before the game ships itself, and we have big opportunity to leave feedback to the way that Halo we want the way that we want Halo to be played, because we are the consumer, we are the people who are buying the Halo that they're making. So people who complain or say, "Oh, take out Sprint,
It's not Halo, right?
it's not Halo," I suggest that you sign up at HaloWaypoint.com
For the feedback page.
for a feedback page, or make a forum name so that you can leave feedback. Best place to leave it, and then build up some evidence about why you feel that so and so is not working, or how it doesn't work. Don't just go on Twitter and tweet at Quinn De Hoyo or Brav and say it's not Halo. Come up with something that makes sense to why, so they can actually read it and take it into consideration rather than spamming out your suggestions. But moving forward, make sure that the Halo 5 is
Well, first,
patchable.
just to add on that,
Sure.
probably would be a good idea to actually play before commenting.
Right.
So
Oh,
you need to
just go in
actually
there,
play.
yeah.
You don't want to just say a bunch of crap and say like you know it all, but you're actually just
Right.
never
Go in
played it.
there, give Halo 5 at least 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, 5 to 6 hours of gameplay.
Figure
should be
out
enough
your
to figure
control
out
scheme first.
that a lot of the stuff is already balanced. You'll probably be getting owned harder than you feel like you should be getting owned. But like I said, there is a high skill gap, and that's the thing. If you want to learn all this stuff, that's a good thing, because that means that there's things to play for when you're playing it. It makes it fun, just like any other Halo before it. It's adding something that you want to keep playing for, and that's the high skill gap there. If you keep getting owned, you're going to have to learn all these abilities to start owning other people.
All right. So 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes left to the hour.
We have 5 minutes left to the hour.
And
Let
we
me
wanna-
just say that we did go like 15-0, and then we ran into Walshy in between our matches, and then Walshy had a Smurf strong side on his team.
Oh, Smurf
And then-
strong side. Yeah.
Smurf strong
remember
side
that.
on his team,
Smurf, if you guys don't know what that is somebody
Someone
that is a
use-
pro,
someone
aka
is-
strong side,
and then
using a different
account.
account so that it doesn't.
So we ran into that. and it was only a 2-day beta, so I didn't care. I just wanted to learn.
So you might run into some Smurf 343 pro team. So don't be discouraged if they're really.
But yeah, a lot of the gameplay or a lot of the things that I learned from watching the pro team. The first night they streamed. We don't have much time, but the first night they streamed, I was watching all of that because if you watch the sprint, at the beginning of the sprint, it says, which is the documentary I was talking about.
Yeah.
It says that it was January 2014, right? So fast forward to now, it's almost a year from now. That's the skill gap. That's the skill gap that
they possess.
They've
already been playing it for a year.
They were bodying people like 50 to 10, under 10, like every single game. It was ridiculous. And every single person that I watched Neighbor, and he was playing ridiculous, getting distraction medals all over the place, and thrusting and sorting, shoulder ramming and sorting. And then I switched to Ghost, and he played totally different, which is crazy. He played with a pistol and the SMG, and just destroyed kids that way. And then we watched Strong Side, and he didn't even sprint, and was just calling shots from the back. And he's played less than them, but I mean he's played more than everybody else, maybe 6 to 8 months maybe. But he was playing his own style. So there's a lot to look forward to in this game. There's so much things that you can learn, but there's also you can play it your own way and figure out a way to do that. And hopefully the 3 weeks, you'll get that hook. You'll get that that feeling that you want to keep playing Halo 5 Beta.
Well, every single kill that you perform in this game feels like you deserve it. So,
yeah. Or feels like you played the person or outplayed the person or played it well enough where you can get that kill.
Or when you die, you played poorly.
Right, and that's exactly what you want to feel in the Halo
But
game.
let's leave the end of the podcast with a little bit of speculation, a little bit of fun talk.
Okay, a little bit of fun talk.
So I noticed that there's Prophet's Bane.
Okay, so the Prophet's Bane,
is
for those that don't know, is the Arbiter's legendary sword. So this is his sword that he wields into battle.
Yeah,
his personal sword.
And I also noticed in the Sprint documentary,
right,
that they have remix maps.
Mm-hmm.
And those are in some different timeline, before or after.
Well, so if you get, for example, Regret is supposed to be aged 100 years, right?
Okay.
That's what I got from that. But then there's also, if you look at the bulletin, they have the option, right, to change weapons on map.
Okay. But Guardians has been killing us since Halo CE. If you haven't been killed by the Guardians before, that means that they're in that timeline as well, Guardians.
Sure.
And they have, what I'm getting at is they have Prophet's Bane as a power weapon. What do you think about this video that I put together? Let me go to it right here. Let me click up your play here. What do you think about this? Captain
Keyes baby. Wow. Okay, so this is Captain Keyes giving you the pistol, the one that everyone knows and loves, the 3-shot pistol.
So not a starting weapon.
Don't get any funny ideas.
Not primary weapon.
But the personal weapon.
The personal weapon, but I'm talking about the Halo C pistol D6, I believe it's called, as a power weapon. How would it play?
How would it play? So like I said before, in the...
so there's only one on the map, and then you guys have to fight for it like a rocket. Then you pick it up, and then...
obviously you want it to have a 3-shot kill.
Yeah.
Right? The way to balance it...
The way to balance it, if it were ever to come into play, I would have a smart scope. It would be, the periphery would be blurred so that if you decide to scope, that you would be vulnerable to SMGs and ARs close range because of you're only targeting one person.
Right.
And then I would make the clip size the same, but the starting ammo, because Keyes, when he hands it to you, he says you have to get to find ammo on your own.
So with the starting ammo, it's going to be very low. But if you kill people and walk over the button, you can pick up some ammo. So you have to be dynamic and you have to get over to some area because he says you have to go get your own ammo. So it's going to start with little ammo, but you go get some ammo. And then from Nightfall, episode 1. Okay, so this is you're explaining how it fits into the This lore. Is how it fits into the meta. Right. Alpha Halo, which is Halo CE, the first Halo, they have a... If you guys haven't watched it, episode 1 of Nightfall, they have an element on there that hurts humans, but not Covenant. Yeah. And not Covenant, okay? Because this pistol has been on Alpha Halo 1, it contains this element. Right. So you cannot sprint with the weapon. So that's how you're balancing the weapon. Yep, so everybody has to protect him. He has low ammo, but he has 3 shot kills. Alright. So, I say we should add it. It sounds balanced, Quinn, so... Yep. Well, it fits the story. Fits the story. We found a way to balance it. And... It's just as a power-up weapon. Not everybody has it. Not everyone has it. Just a power weapon. So it can fit its role exactly how people meant it. They said the God Pistol, and it should just come back as a power weapon, not a starting weapon. Alright. But if you guys liked our little chat about Halo 5 beta, you can hit us up online at RetroTwinBob44. Here, let me go to our gamer tags again. You can play with us in the beta. RetroTwinJohn5 right there. And we also stream live at twitch.tv/Team Utah Noobs. We're going to probably start doing a Comeback Evolve League play on one of the days of the week, and then retrospective on Tuesdays, maybe another day of the week. We'll put it on our schedule on the Team Utah Noobs. We'll also upload this on YouTube at youtube.com/Team Utah Noobs, so you guys can like it on there. But thanks for watching. It's been fun.